Chapter 5, Compromise. John stood in the vast cold white space of the vinyl bathroom. Sinks dotted the hills and tubs littered the valleys of this grandiose room. He wandered about searching for the toilet. Every step he took his bladder would fill and his bowels would churn. He needed to find the toilet. He knew it was somewhere. He had left the safety and warmth of his bed, traveled the temperate fields of the living room just to come to here, the cold bleak tundra of the bathroom. Had he stayed where he was, he would still be warm, but that was not where big boys went potty. Only babies could have the comfort of warmth and potty. He was not a baby. Just over a hill John could see his goal now, a large porcelain throne where only big boys and adults could go. Soon he could have his release. Scattered before the toilet were small training potties, a trap for the weak-willed. It was tempting. By now John knew his bladder would fail and his bowels would give way. There they sat in droves, waiting for the desperate to pick them, to allow him to finally release the pain and pressure in his body. If he chose However, he wouldn't be called a big boy. John walked, his mind set and his goal before him. There came a low growl from somewhere nearby. John turned. There was nothing but the training potties. He approached one and the growl intensified until the small pink training potty leapt St. John, sharp claws reaching out and teeth gnashing. John yelled and delivered a swift kick to the plastic potty. "I am going to the potty," John yelled in defiance. They wouldn't stop him. He wouldn't be a baby. He soon came upon the toilet, the seat of adults and big kids. John undid his pants and approached the porcelain throne. As John was ready to relieve himself, the toilet came to life. Many arms lashed out and grabbed John. They hoisted him high into the air and began to lower him down towards a gaping maw of teeth and rush of swirling water that would pull him into a back void. John struggled until one was free. He punched at the arms until they let him go. He fell and hit the ground, scrambling quickly to get to his feet and run. The toilet monster bellowed to the sky, his voice carrying across the vinyl tundra. All went quiet, but it wasn't long before John heard them, the many mini monster potties all replying, all hungry. John ran. Using the toilet didn't matter for now, surviving was the only goal now. He had to run as fast as he could, outrun them all. Maybe, he thought, maybe they will tire and it will be then that he will have his chance to use them. His legs, however, would not move. No, not like those dreams. He cried, one leg slowly raising, slowly lowering, dragging him forward even though he was pushing himself beyond his limits to go as fast as possible and faster. His legs refused to match the speed he needed. The potties would soon catch him, devour him, swallow him down in those terrifying maws that swirled like a cyclone down into pitch-dark emptiness. Yet there was one way he could live. It was off in the distance, but he could make it before the swarm of potties got him, a changing table. On it were diapers. If he could just make it there and wear them, he could survive. He didn't need to use them. He could trick the potties, wear one of them and say he was a baby, and then when their guard was down, relieve himself in them. John hurried and soon made it to the changing table. He pulled out a diaper and tried to figure out how to put it on. Magically it opened up and became sealed around him. It felt soft, it felt warm, it made him feel safe. If it wasn't for the frigid air of the bathroom, he could be in pure bliss. To be in his bed while wearing a diaper, warm, very warm, and no worry about wetting the bed or messing it. The toilets approached and John snapped from the daydream. "Look, I'm in a diaper now, okay? I'm a baby," he told them, but the toilets continued their approach. "I'm a baby. Can't you see I need diapers?" John gestured to the puffy, thick, crinkly diaper he was wearing. They still continued to approach. No, they knew John underestimated them. They were far more intelligent. Only an adult could trick them. "Okay, fine, I'll prove it," he said. He squat down. AD began to push. It didn't take long for a thick log of poop to enter his diaper. As soon as he felt it leave his body and mish against his diaper, his bladder soon followed without his command. His diaper felt amazing. Warmth blossomed around him that comforted him in the cold tundra. As his pee was absorbed, the extra squish against his butt tickled him. He was a baby now and the toilets had no interest in a baby that couldn't use them. John was safe. John sat there knowing he was safe. He could go in his diaper without worry of ruining the many floors of the rooms. Yet he couldn't change into a new diaper. He didn't know how. Mommy did though, but Mommy was in another room and he wasn't sure where. He didn't mind, he was in a diaper and he would never need to come back here to relieve himself. He could travel the vast rooms in search of Mommy, foregoing any thought of needing the bathroom. Mommy might even find him, and she would change his diaper so he could travel the house for the next adventure. One day he may return to the bathroom when the rubber duckies returned for the warmer season and the tubs were full of warm water and bubbles. Mommy would be there too. She would help bathe him, and when the season would get cold, the tubs would drain and the rubber duckies migrated south. Mommy would take John across the bathroom. She would place him on the changing table and put him back in a diaper, and he would look across the vinyl and see the many potties and the toilet, knowing they would never come for him, not while he needed diapers. John woke up feeling bliss from such a pleasant dream. It had some scary parts, but it turned around and he hadn't felt so relaxed before. John shifted a bit and his joy turned to cold dread. His butt slipped just a bit in the mess. His jammies clung wetly to his leg. He fully relieved himself in the bed. Alex entered the room to wake John up. She could hear sniffling coming from the bed. She cautiously approached and slowly the smell came to her. She gently nudged John, who gave a whimpering gasp and his crying could be heard. He knew what Alex was going to do and the embarrassment of it all simply made him collapse. "Oh Honeysha, it's okay," Alex gently spoke. She rubbed at his shoulder and did her best to comfort him. "Come here," she did her best to roll John over and bring him into her arms more. He resisted and he began to cry harder. Alex smiled and pulled a bit harder. "Come here, come here, come here, come here," she sang and kept pulling until he gave and she could hold him in her arms. She rubbed his back and combed his hair, calming him down with soft shush and telling him it was all right. "Come on, let us get you cleaned up," she gently spoke. John only whined with an incomprehensible sentence. "No, you can't stay here, sweetie, it isn't good for you." John whined something again and sobbed more. "We will talk about that later, right now we need you cleaned up." Alex helped John out of bed, the stench of his accident even stronger unleashed from the bedsheets. Yet she didn't wrinkle her nose at it or tease him. She led him to the bathrooms and helped him out of his clothes. "See, can't you magic them clean?" John mumbled. Alex smiled, gently held his head and gave him a kiss on the forehead. "The easiest answer is not always the best answer," she said softly. She then sat him on the toilet. "Clean up what you can." John did his best to clean up his muddy backside, flushing in between a few rounds. When he felt it was sufficient enough, he stood up. Alex had been adjusting the faucet in the bathtub so the water would be perfect. "Just let me check," she said and gave him a smile. "What I am going to ask you may be embarrassing, sweetie, but if we want a good bath then we need to clean you up a bit better, okay?" John nodded, his embarrassment starting to turn to exhaustion. "Okay, then please lay on the mat," she said, gestured to a mat and wipes that had appeared. John gave a resigned sigh and moved to lay down. Alex gently sat down and began her work. She spoke softly, instructing John how to move and went about scrubbing every inch of him clean. She was quick and efficient and John could hear her hum to herself. It didn't sound like a sound more, she was keeping her cooing and comments to herself. Once she was done, she helped John into the tub. The water was warm and had some kind of oil in it. "Just relax, enjoy the warmth and let your muscles relax," Alex told him. "Let the bubbles take you away," she said. "Bubbles?" Alex snapped her fingers and John felt gentle thinking at his back. The tub was like a jacuzzi now, with jets massaging at every part of his body. Bubbles began to form and overtake the tub. John relaxed. This was all around nice, the water was hot but comfortable, the jets released tension in places he didn't know were tense. John sank a bit deeper into the tub, letting the water wash over him and sweep away the stress and worries he had been holding on to. Quack. A squeak came. John opened his eyes. Alex was holding onto a small yellow rubber ducky and squeezing it near his face. Quack, quack, it squeaked. Alex had a big warm smile on her face as she played with the rubber ducky. John glared at the rubber ducky. You really can't help treating me like a child, can you? He grumbled. I told you I get nourishment from coddling and nurturing. If you had summoned a pure blood succubus, she would be riding you until you were bone dry and the only thing left to squirt out is your soul. I am much gentler, I just need moments like this, she told him. Quack, quack, went the ducky. As I have said, let me have these moments and I will have power. Once I have power, you will have your office, an easy deal, don't you think? So it would be nice if you could try and enjoy the cartoons. It would be nice if you let me dress you and tuck you in, small simple things. Can you try that for me? She asked. I guess I can. There we go. For now though, you just relax in the tub and play with Mr. Ducky, she said, handing him the rubber ducky with one last quack. John did as he was told. He relaxed in the tub and now and then gave the rubber ducky a squeeze to hear it quack. He started to enjoy playing with the ducky. He began to pretend his hand was a giant squid and would grab the rubber ducky, pull it under the water and launch it back out. Alex soon returned with a set of clothes and a big fluffy towel. All right, bath time's over, let's get you dry and ready for the day, Alex said. John groaned, not wanting to leave the bath yet. He was really starting to have fun. Once dry and dressed, John headed for the kitchen to eat. Alex was busy cooking up breakfast when John noticed the clock on the stove. Panic rose through him and then he checked his phone. Monday 9 o'clock, an hour after he was to be at work. Fuck. I'm late for work, John said and scrambled to grab his keys, his phone, his wallet. On his way toward the door, Alex stopped him. Out of my way, I fucking need to go to work. He yelled. Calm down, I have taken care of it, go check your email, Alex told him. John was still in a rush. Alex had to push him toward her computer to get him to look at it. There was one new message which read, Dear John, we have decided to give you one entire month off of paid vacation. We appreciate your dedication to the company and want to apologize for not awarding the promotion you rightly deserve. We know this is not enough to make up for the lack of promotion. We hope it does show our appreciation for your time and effort. Enjoy your vacation. Should you decide to vacation out of state, feel free to put any hotel and restaurant charges on company time. From David Whitaker. David was John's boss and John knew he wouldn't go this far for anyone, let alone John. John looked up at Alex. This can't be real, he said. Don't underestimate my power, Johnny. A little flick of the wrist here and twirl of the finger there. A late night visit as a personified night terror demon threatening to suck the soul out of the man if he doesn't give little Johnny boy an extra special vacation for the lack of promotion, she said. You fucking did what? Alex simply laughed at John. No, I just went to him, put on the succubus charm and charmed him. He believed I was your mother, so it was easy to promise him a few nights of a good time if he gave my little Johnny a little extra vacation time. John began to feel a flame of jealousy thinking of his boss with Alex. He was having sex with Alex while John was getting bath times and cartoons. That's not fair, I summoned you, I should be the one to foo dash. John felt a finger firmly pressed on his lips. In his panic to get to work, he hadn't noticed a furious flame that roared off of Alex. Careful, young man, if you said that word, that would be 4 bad boy words from that potty mouth of yours, she said. John shrank back, realizing now he was in trouble. He had said 3 bad words in the last few minutes. Alex grabbed his chin harshly, not a smile on her face, just a fierce look of anger. You have such a dirty mouth, young man, move to the bathroom now, she ordered. John went to the bathroom and he sat down on the toilet as Alex presented a bar of soap. We need to wash that mouth, maybe with a clean mouth we won't hear bad words. I'm sorry, I was just in a panic and dash. Apologies are not going to cut it, you said those bad words, there is no excuse for it. If I don't punish you, then you get away with it, and if you think you got away with it the last time, you can get away with it a second, or a third, she said. She then held the soap before him. Now say, ah. John opened his mouth and in went the soap. He held the soppon on his mouth for 3 minutes before Alex made him wash all the soap out of his mouth. Have we learned our lesson? Alex asked. John simply nodded. Let's hope so. Now go play. John hurried off from the bathroom. John had breakfast, and now with an entire month off from work he decided to start off his vacation with some video games. A few hours went by when Alex intervened. All right, sweetie, find a stopping point. It's time for your nap, she said. John gave a groan, paused his game and placed his console into rest mode. Once that was done, Alex set up his nap spot on the floor. They laid down together where she sang to him and combed his hair, cuddling until he fell asleep. After nap time was lunch. John did his best to watch the cartoons she put on. The characters frolicking about in their simple, innocent world, solving easy problems and resolving things by talking. John started to see why Alex enjoyed them. You're probably forced to enjoy these shows if you care for kids a lot, he stared. I have always enjoyed these cartoons, but nothing brings me more joy than watching the little ones enjoy them. Glad to see you are paying attention at least, she said. After lunch was over, John found himself watching a couple more shows before he returned to his games. That was his day. It went by rather quickly as he enjoyed it how he liked. Alex gave him snacks, made sure he did some chores that he complained about doing mid-game. Dinner was served and it wasn't long before Alex was telling him it was time for bed. He changed into his pajamas. Happy Alex let him wear his normal paitler. He was tucked into bed and read a story before she got up to leave. Good night, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite, and if they do then take your shoe and dash. Hit them until they are black and blue. John finished her rhyme and saw her pink and blue eyes flash with glee. This seemed to really make her happy. She shut the door, leaving John in the glow of his nightlight, and fell asleep.